If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Tired of your car insurance rate going up even with a clean driving record? You're not alone. That's why there's Jerry, your proactive insurance assistant. Jerry compares rates side by side from over 50 top insurers and helps you switch with ease. Jerry even tracks market rates and alerts you when it's best to shop. No spam calls, no hidden fees. Drivers who save with Jerry could save over $1,300 a year. Switch with confidence. Download the Jerry app or visit jerry.ai/ACAST today.
Hi, this is Joe from Vanta. In today's digital world, compliance regulations are changing constantly, and earning customer trust has never mattered more. Vanta helps companies get compliant fast and stay secure with the most advanced AI, automation, and continuous monitoring out there. So whether you're a startup going for your first SOC 2 or ISO 27001, or a growing enterprise managing vendor risk, Vanta makes it quick, easy, and scalable. And I'm not just saying that because I work here. Get started at Vanta.com.
If your dog could talk, they'd beg for Ollie. The full-body tail wag, the excited little hops, the big, goofy grin, that's the Ollie effect. Ollie delivers clean, fresh nutrition in 5 drool-worthy flavors, even for the pickiest eaters. Made in U.S. kitchens with high-quality, human-grade ingredients, Ollie's food contains no fillers, no preservatives, just real food. Just fill out Ollie's 30-second quiz and they'll create a customized meal plan based on your pup's weight, activity level, and other health info. Dogs deserve the best, and that means fresh, healthy food. Head to ollie.com/healthypup, tell them about your dog, and use code HEALTHYPUP to get 60% off your welcome kit when you subscribe today. Plus, they offer a happiness guarantee on the first box, so if you're not completely satisfied, you'll get your money back. That's OLLIE.com/healthypup and enter code HEALTHYPUP to get 60% off your first box.
This is the Daily Tech News for Wednesday, August 13th, 2025. We tell you what you need to know. We follow up on context, and by gosh, we do our best to help each other understand this crazy world.
Today, OpenAI backtracks on model selection, and the new Pebble Time 2 gets closer to reality.
Ooh, I'm excited. I'm Tom Merritt.
I'm Jenn Cutter.
Let's start with what you need to know with the big story. So, Jen, did you hear everybody grumbling? Did you hear the grumbling up there in Toronto of OpenAI users?
A lot of grumbling, and I had a little bit of sympathy because everyone, I think, has had things where they worked on something, they came back and, oh no, it's all gone.
Why is it not there? That's how I do my work. OpenAI has restored access to older models in ChatGPT and given users some more control over which version they use. If you missed it, OpenAI removed all previous models when it launched GPT-5 with the idea that its new router would be able to tell from your query which model was best. Now, that's probably fine for most users once it started working properly, but some had very specific reasons for using other models, and others just didn't like change or having their choice take away. At first, OpenAI restored the 4.0 model for paying users. That is now listed in the dropdown under legacy models if you have access to it. OpenAI has now created a toggle in settings, so you'll need to go find it, called Show Additional Models. And if you turn that on, you get 03, 4.1, and 5 Thinking Mini as choice items. If you pay $200 a month for the Pro version, you also get 4.5. Has this made anyone you know happier?
Yes. I think those people may also be slightly overly attached to particular models.
You know,
possibly.
I'll give OpenAI credit for saying, you know what, enough people want it, let's just give it to them. They gave it to them in a way that users who don't care don't have to deal with it too.
Yeah, for people who didn't notice, they're fine. And then for people like me who are hyper specific about where I want my UI and stuff, I understand the feelings.
OpenAI also is giving you the option to choose between auto, fast, and thinking models for GPT-5. And again, same thing we were just talking about. Auto will just use the router to choose the mode. And that's the default selection. So if you don't want to think, you don't have to. But if you're like, no, I actually want to use the reasoning model, give me thinking. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman also said the company is working to make the personality of 5 warmer without returning it to the sycophantic personality of 4.0. He added, one learning for us from the past few days is we really just need to get to a world with more per user customization of model personality.
Yeah,
everybody wants that one.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be tricky from their end because they're like the router will help them not waste compute models on the most basic of things. But if everybody has their own personality in their own chat, doesn't that take up a ton of computing problems too?
Yeah, it depends on how they implement it. And I guess that's what he's saying they're going to try to solve. OpenAI also rolled out support for Gmail, Google Calendar, and Google Context connectors if you're in that $200 a month pro service. If you're a Plus, Team, Enterprise, or Edu plan holder, you'll get it in the coming weeks. That's the one that lets you connect those services so you can ask questions related to your docs or calendar, etc. And ChatGPT can then look at that information to help find answers to them. You could already do Gmail and calendar in deep research. So if you already connected them there, it'll now connect to the other services as well. This probably gives some people the heebie-jeebies, but it's not constant access. Although you do have to trust OpenAI won't abuse it. It's just using it when you tell it to.
Yeah, I had always assumed that those were actually referenced in terms of the like ask the AI to do this for you and then wouldn't it have added it anyway. So I think, yeah, the people who wanted to use this were probably already using it.
Yeah. Can you look at my calendar and tell me like what's the best time to schedule X, that kind of stuff. Finally, an interesting write-up from Doug O'Loughlin, along with Dylan Patel, Wei Zhou, and AJ Kurabi on semi-analysis, proposes that this router, I know when we say router, everybody's probably thinking of it like a D-Link
the physical
or something,
thing.
but it's just routing your query to the right model. That the router in GPT-5 might set the stage for OpenAI to monetize free users in the future. You should totally read this full story. It's a good write-up, and they go into great detail on their reasoning. But the short version is that the router can tell when a query could be handled by a cheaper to use model like Mini and save queries that could lead to things like referrals for the more expensive compute. The example they give is you're asking for legal advice and it says, we're going to use the more expensive model because then we can pick the legal person from them and get a cut of the referral for sending them along to the lawyer. Instacart added a feature in January that lets agents check out products, which is kind of along the road to this. And they pointed out that Fiji Simo was CEO of Instacart when that was rolled out in January, and she is now head of product at OpenAI. So it seems clear that they might want to pursue that kind of thing. Jen, what do you think of a free chatbot that doesn't give you ads, but still can make money off your purchases?
Yeah, well, I had to figure out what that Instacart thing was about because I had missed that news. So I was like, okay, I look this up and they're like, oh, you can tell the agent, hey, I want to make this fancy recipe. So you read it and you put all the necessary things in my cart. And I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. That is helpful. I don't quite understand how OpenAI is going to benefit from this. Like what kind of referrals? Like, are they going to get kickbacks from something?
Yeah, that's exactly what this means is, when the agent goes out and finds the lawyer to help you deal with your speeding ticket, OpenAI would get a cut of the referral to that lawyer. Now, what they kind of waved away in the semi-analysis piece was this would not degrade the advice of the model, but give OpenAI money. And the way referrals usually work is we will prominently display your link and get a cut from it if you do an agreement with us. Because otherwise people are like, why do I need to give you a cut if you're going to link to me anyway? And that's the part that's missing for me here is how do you not degrade the answer when I say, give me the best lawyer, when you've got some lawyers who you get a referral from and some you don't?
Because I know that for Google, like when you want to be in a specific category and specific words, you're paying Google, you're bidding for that spot.
Yeah, you want to show up higher than everybody else, right? Yeah.
So is OpenAI going to run a parallel system to that?
Well, the closest thing I can think of is when I was at CNET, we had a referral program for links. And so some manufacturers, we would put a special link in any of our coverage, and then we would get a referral fee if someone were to click on that link. There was always a tension between treating all products equally, whether we got a referral or not, and the idea that like, well, why are they giving us a referral if we're not giving them special promotion? And I was on the end of fighting, like, I, as an editorial person, have to treat all the links the same. So, don't make me not run a headline because, well, that one doesn't have any referrals in the links. So yeah, I'm curious how OpenAI would deal with that. Maybe it's a challenge to the listeners. Like, if you can solve that and say, here's how they could not affect the quality of their answers and still make a quality referral program, I'd love to hear about it.
Mm-hmm. And I'd love to see how fast they get something like this out the door because, hey, Christmas is coming. If there was ever a time to get referral money, probably now.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. I guess OpenAI is not worried about becoming profitable on the free version today. So if they didn't get it by this holiday season, they'd get it by next holiday season. It'd be fine. But there could be some added pressure to be like, let's try something out this holidays. That's interesting. I do like the idea of referrals over ads. I don't like the idea of seeing display ads, and it does not sound like OpenAI would do that.
DTNS is made possible by you, the listener. Thanks to Kevin Morgan, Paul Thiessen, Ali Sanjabi, and John Murray III.
Yay!
Picture this. You're in the garage, hands covered in grease, just finished up tuning your engine with a part you found on eBay, and you realize, you know what? I could also use new brakes. So where do you go next? Back to eBay. You can find anything there. It's unreal. Wipers, headlights, even cold air intakes. It's all there. And you've got eBay Guaranteed Fit. You order a part, and if it doesn't fit, send it back. Simple as that. Look, DIY fixes can be major. Doesn't matter if it's just maintenance or a major mod. You got it, especially when things are guaranteed to fit. So when you dive into your next car project, start with eBay. All the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
If your dog could talk, they'd beg for Ollie. The full-body tail wag, the excited little hops, the big, goofy grin, that's the Ollie effect. Ollie delivers clean, fresh nutrition in 5 drool-worthy flavors, even for the pickiest eaters. Made in U.S. kitchens with high-quality, human-grade ingredients, Ollie's food contains no fillers, no preservatives, just real food. Just fill out Ollie's 30-second quiz and they'll create a customized meal plan based on your pup's weight, activity level, and other health info. Dogs deserve the best, and that means fresh, healthy food. Head to ollie.com/healthypup, tell them about your dog, and use code HEALTHYPUP to get 60% off your welcome kit when you subscribe today. Plus, they offer a happiness guarantee on the first box, so if you're not completely satisfied, you'll get your money back. That's OLLIE.com/healthypup and enter code HEALTHYPUP to get 60% off your first box. I'm no tech genius, but I knew if I wanted my business to crush it, I needed a website now. Thankfully, Bluehost made it easy. I customized, optimized, and monetized everything exactly how I wanted with AI. In minutes, my site was up. I couldn't believe it. The search engine tools even helped me get more site visitors. Whatever your passion project is, you can set it up with Bluehost. With their 30-day money-back guarantee, what have you got to lose? Head to Bluehost.com to start now.
Bombas makes the most comfortable socks, underwear, and T-shirts.
Warning, Bombas are so absurdly comfortable you may throw out all your other clothes.
Sorry, do we legally have to say that?
No, this is just how I talk, and I really love my Bombas.
They do feel that good. And they do good, too. One item purchased equals one item donated.
To feel good and do good, go to Bombas.com and use code AUDIO for 20% off your first purchase. That's BOMBAS.com and use code AUDIO at checkout.
Hey, there's more we need to know today. That's why we give you the briefs.
If you missed it, Eric Mijakovsky is bringing back the Pebble watch, e-paper screen, and everything, and even got the rights to use the Pebble name. Yeah. In an episode of his podcast TikTok, T-I-C-K, Talk, Mijakovsky gave an update on the Pebble Time 2's final design. It'll be available in black and silver with a blue or red accent made of a polycarbonate stripe in between the stainless steel casing material included to let the radios work better. There's also an RGB LED backlight to let you customize colors and let them change automatically through the day. And there will be a compass after all, if you've been following any back and forth on that. You can pre-order the Pebble Time 2 for $225 for shipping in December, though the final price and shipping may yet change. There's also a survey coming for those who pre-ordered the yet-to-ship Pebble 2 Duo to let them change their order to the Time 2.
Yeah, this is all going well, except for the shipping. They were supposed to ship the Duo in July. In fact, it still says July on the official order page. Oh. Now he's saying late August, maybe September, but I'll send a survey before that if you want to switch to the Time. Time's supposed to ship by December, but there's still a lot of I can't tell if he's actually going to be able to ship this or not, but he's showing us the progress. He's showing us the design, and it's a working model. So I still have faith. I also wonder just how big this market is, but I know there's enough enthusiasm for the Pebble that he'll at least have a good first round of orders. Yeah. Well,
I showed this to some people who back the original Pebble, and they're like, what? When did this happen? I think they're going to have to push harder to get the original market back, but they've definitely reached some new people here.
Pony AI says that it has 200 robo-taxis on the road now and is on track to have 1,000 by the end of the year. If it reaches that 1,000 vehicle mark, it said it will be break even per vehicle. Like its monetization plan will be working at break-even levels, though they won't be losing money anymore. The Guangzhou, China-based company says it'll start exploring expansion to Europe at that point. It operates now in China, of course, has a tie-up with Uber in Dubai, and is testing vehicles in South Korea.
This is surprisingly open. You don't see companies give specific numbers for breaking even.
Yeah, I think it's part of their earnings report, so they're probably trying to reassure investors, we're going to hit the mark, and when we do, don't worry, the earnings are going to be good, just like we promised. So, yeah, it is unusual.
A couple of Samsung notes. The One UI 8 beta, which has only been live on the S25 and Z Fold 7 and Z Flip 7, is now rolling out to devices from 2024, like the S24 and Fold and Flip 6. A stable release is planned for September. Samsung also released the Odyssey OLED G6, the first OLED gaming monitor capable of a 500 Hz refresh rate. It's on sale now for $1,000, and I would love to get some, but not at that price.
I mean, there are monitors that are more expensive, but that definitely is at the higher end. And how many games will take advantage of the 500 hertz refresh rate at this point, right? That's more to have it and future-proof yourself, but it is tempting. I'm with you. Google continued its practice of leaking its own information ahead of the Made by Google event next Wednesday, August 20th. Google published a video teaser. It seems like it's a commercial for the Pixel 9 Pro Fold that they'll be running after they announce it. They didn't really include any details on it, though. It's a video of a gray version of the Pro Fold opening, unfolding. So if you want to see what the Pro 9 or the Pixel 9 Pro Fold is going to look like, now you can, and then not be surprised when they give you all the details on Wednesday.
Amazon announced it will expand its same-day grocery delivery in the U.S. to 2,300 cities by the end of the year, which is more than double its footprint now. The service is free for Prime members for orders larger than $25 and costs $12 an order for non-members. This follows positive earnings reports from other food delivery companies like Uber, DoorDash, and Instacart, showing that U.S. customers are continuing to have food delivered.
Yeah, this is a COVID era thing that a lot of people wondered if it would go away once, people got back to being on the road and were working in offices more often again. But it has not in the U.S. I use Instacart. I found that Amazon Prime's delivery service declined, and it was not great. So I don't plan to go back to it. Obviously, I already had in my city, so this is just adding it to other cities. I'm curious in Canada, though, what the food delivery vibe is for you.
If I wanted anything from any gas station or 7-Eleven, I can get that pretty quick. Instacart does exist for groceries and stuff, but Amazon Foods is not really a thing up here. Like there's a couple of Whole Foods, but in terms of ordering online for delivery, not so much a thing.
Do you do any kind of grocery delivery from Instacart or anything else?
When I was sick 2 years ago, I did, Shoppers was available on an app. So I was like, yes, please send me some cough syrup. That'd be great.
Yeah. I do Instacart when I'm lazy or when there's really big things that I just don't feel like, wrestling into my car. And it ends up, because I pay for the yearly membership, it ends up kind of balancing out on the fees I save for it. But it is a little more expensive because there's always a fee, even when you get the delivery fee reduced. And so you got to be careful because some grocery stores charge extra if the Instacart people are getting it. So. There's a lot of news of rich tech people doing things to make each other mad out there. We'll get through it fast, don't worry. But the Financial Times says that OpenAI CEO Sam Altman is co-founding a brain-computer interface, or a BCI company, called Merge Labs. There's a lot of BCI companies developing solid products, so it's not a bad thing on its own. Companies like Synchron, Precision Neuroscience, Emotive, and more are making good advances. The one that always gets more press than I think it probably deserves, although they are also making a decent product, is Elon Musk's Neuralink. And Altman and Musk famously argue over social networks, so Altman getting into this probably has that aspect to it as well. Meanwhile, Musk has still not filed his lawsuit against Apple for alleged mistreatment of xAI's Grok in the App Store. He said he was going to. We'll see if he does. Apple actually responded, though, which surprised me, telling Bloomberg the App Store is, quote, designed to be fair and free of bias. And finally, U.S. District Judge Yvonne Gonzalez-Rogers denied Musk's request to dismiss a harassment case brought against him by Sam Altman's OpenAI. Doesn't mean OpenAI will win the case. It just means the case can now proceed. The judge also dismissed a few of Musk's claims against OpenAI and Microsoft.
Despite uncertainty about tariffs, manufacturers' inventories have contracted, according to numbers from the U.S. Institute for Supply Management Data. Analyst company McKinsey says that respondents relying on bigger inventory to cushion disruptions fell to 34% last year from 60% in 2022, and the 2025 data looks similar. Just-in-time inventory seems to be back. Reuters reports that many companies are using generative models to summarize news, process data, and recommend how much to buy and from whom. These tools also recommend transfers between locations as well as when and where to buy.
Yeah, just-in-time inventory is a very cost-efficient way. It keeps the price of your goods down. It may be one of the reasons you're not seeing bigger inflation. I was surprised to see this, though. And the fact that tools can kind of process through this uncertainty and give you a quicker route to ways to save money by saying, actually, you've got all these products over here, just move them over here, and then that'll work out. That makes sense to me because that's the kind of pattern matching that these tools are good at. So I found this to be a really interesting story.
Yeah, I have endless respect for logistics people. I used to work for a now non-existent Canadian retailer just in Canada, and we had a lady, and this lady was God tier, and she handled everything. She had a big chart on the wall, and she just did it all in her head. And man, I would love to know if she would use these tools, because if she could find 1% somewhere, she was, gosh darn it, going to find it.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing about these, to that point, is the story was not, these are replacing anyone. The story was like, this is helping the managers get to the answer faster, but they still have to look at it and go, yeah, that makes sense, right? So I imagine she would be like, yeah, I'll use these tools, but I'm going to double check their work.
Yeah. And then from my extremely specific point of view, right now we have a pickle problem in Canada, whereas a former Canadian company is sold to the US, but so Bix Pickles, which apparently you guys never had. I never knew that. I always thought they were cross-border. So Ontario Pickles get shipped down to the States, and then the US company that owns it also buys the lids from Canada and then makes pickles and then sends them back. And that's a big problem right now because they're missing from a lot of retailer shelves because of the cross-border uncertainty. And I'm thinking like AI can compensate for a lot, but that is a very shifting political thing that I don't think a straight logistics tool would be able to incorporate as much.
But that's what this story is saying the tools are good for. So maybe the pickle people just need to use the tools.
Exactly. All the like my family is extremely sad about the pickle situation because it's Canada's favorite.
Is this
pickles.
why Pamela Anderson is selling pickles? I saw a headline that she was selling pickles, and I did not read into it.
Well, great. Now I need to look into that.
All right. That's the good news about the generative model tools. Here's a situation where they didn't work as well. A study published by Polish scientists in the Lancet Gastroenterology and Hepatology Journal found that endoscopists, the folks that stick the endoscope up you, who used decision support systems to identify precancerous growths found, and then follow me closely here, the identification rate, the successful identification rate. So we're not talking about accuracy here. We're just talking about did they find them when they should have, dropped below their previous unassisted rate when they stopped using the systems. Okay. So in a study of 1,400 non-assisted colonoscopies where they were not using the study, the identification rate was 28.4% in the 3 months before they started using an assistant and was 22.4% in the 3 months after they stopped using the system. So the implication is they got less good at identifying themselves in the time period where they were using an assistant to diagnose. The system itself did not significantly raise the detection rate when it was in use, because that would be the other argument of like, oh, but did you get a big boost? They got a very small boost, but not a very significant one. More study is required, as this study focused on one assistance system. So maybe the system was not that good, and carries a selection bias, of course, because this is based on endoscopists willing to use the system in the first place. They weren't mandated to use it.
Yeah. My first reaction was, oh no, this is terrible, because anytime you hear something with cancer, obviously your brain kind of goes to worst case. And I was trying to think of like, is there any equivalent that I can relate to? And yes, there is. I can't memorize a phone number to save my life anymore because it has been so long since I've had to actually do that. Now, like, I think within the first 3 months of getting a cell phone, I probably still could have memorized a phone number.
Yeah. Oh, overall, and see, this is what's interesting, especially with the phone number thing, because that is not life-threatening, right?
Yes.
And it's freeing up your brain resources to do other things that are more important than remembering phone numbers. So arguably, it's a positive that you can't remember the phone number. However, in this case, you saw a mild rise when they were using the systems. So maybe you could say, well, using the systems replaces it. But it does point out that, you do have to take into account, especially if you're not going to be able to use the system all the time, that it is having an effect on accuracy, and do some study and mitigation factors on that. And maybe you just need a better system too. I mean, that's possible.
Epic Games' Easy Anti-Cheat system is now compatible with Windows 11 on ARM systems that use Qualcomm's Snapdragon X chips. This will help companies bring over more games to run natively on Windows 11 on ARM, including Epic's own Fortnite. The Easy Anti-Cheat system now also supports Nintendo Switch 2.
Yeah, so this helps make sure that when you're doing multiplayer that people aren't gaming the system, of course, which is good. But it also means you don't have to emulate, right? If you're going to run something on a Copilot Plus machine.
Yeah, well, that's why like Fortnite on Switch 2 was not great at launch.
Yeah.
And this will all make it better. And nobody likes playing against somebody with wall hacks.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So that is mostly good news. Also mostly good news is that it's August when the news slows down a little bit. So all next week, we are doing our 4th annual Experiment Week. We're swapping out our normal DTNS shows, trying out some new ideas. We've had some really great stuff in the past. Shows like Behind the Data and the Tech John were Experiment Week episodes that became full-on podcasts that are going strong now. This year, we have an exclusive Android Faithful reaction to the Pixel event, the Made by Google event next week. Roger interviewed Adam Sessler of ZDTV Tech TV fame. And Jen, I believe you've got something in the works as well, do you not?
I do. Raj and I are going to talk about some Zen games, just games to relax.
So check that out all next week, Monday, August 11th through Friday, August 15th, right here on this very feed.
Ready to order.
Yes.
We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card. So let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver Card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Moms, ready to make back to school healthy and stress-free? Thrive Market's got you. They restrict over 1,000 sketchy ingredients so you can shop worry-free. Grab high-protein dinners and low-sugar lunchbox faves. From lesser evil popcorn to partake cookie snack packs, they have the best kid-approved swaps. And don't forget about yourself. Grab a Cure's Hydrogel Eye Mask for the perfect end-of-day reset. Their big back-to-school sale makes it the perfect time to stock up now. Go to thrivemarket.com/podcast for 30% off your first order and a free $60 gift.
We end every episode of DTNS with some shared wisdom. Now, while we still don't know the details of the agreement for NVIDIA and AMD to pay the U.S. government 15% of revenue from restricted chips sold to Chinese companies, until we do, we can't really assess the legality. Now, Tom had speculated on ways it could be legal, and several of you have written in with ways it could not. One of the most informed responses we got was from Manny.
Yeah, Manny points out that only Congress has the authority to levy taxes, so this cannot be a new tax. Even though I've been calling it a tax, it can't actually be a tax since there's no congressional action on it. So it has to be something like a fee. And Michael wrote, what little has been made public has indicated that the tax or revenue share is a quid pro quo for the export license managed by the Department of Commerce's Bureau of Industry and Security, the BIS. While they have fees for applying for export licenses, they are typically fixed. And NVIDIA should be paying the same price as a competitor exporting the same or similar product to any country. BIS decisions are based on national security, and the fees are for the time and legal billable hours to decide whether a given export constitutes a national security threat. The idea that BIS might restrict an export on whether a tax is paid is unprecedented. He also added, I think we can all agree that U.S. tech shouldn't be sold to rivals that threaten national security, but do we want a pay-for-play model for companies wanting to export techs? I might be missing an obscure authority or legal argument, but I can't imagine a world in which we tax a company for something we don't believe is a national security threat, but we'll use those authorities to extract revenue from a company. I hope this was helpful in explaining how unusual this arrangement is and is food for thought about this deal. Yes, thank you for this. I would say, though, based on your own description, that a way it could be defended is that NVIDIA and AMD are both paying the same price as each other, so they are competitors, and they are exporting the same type of product to any country. Again, I think that is hard for people to keep in their heads because they're thinking, well, these are only sold to China. But they are allowed to be sold to anybody. Jen and I could buy one if we wanted. It's just that we have better options, so we're not going to buy it. So the effect is that they're only sold to China because nobody else needs to buy them. And maybe that holds water in a legal argument, but there's not actually a restriction on who sells them. Anybody can make them. It's just that NVIDIA and AMD are the only ones bothering to, and they can be sold to anywhere. So I think that's the defense here. Even if this is some kind of fee, I could see an attack of like, well, this is going beyond just the legal billable hours to decide whether this constitutes a national security threat or not. That doesn't seem to match up.
Yeah, it's a lot to think about. Thank you for submitting these thoughts because we love what you are thinking about. Do you have some insight into a story much like this one or any other we discussed today? Please share it with us over at feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com.
Big thanks to Manny for contributing to today's show. Thank you for being along for Daily Tech News Show. You can keep us in business. Become a patron if you're not already. There's lots of cool stuff over there. Patreon.com/DTNS. Talk to you soon.
The DTNS family of podcasts, helping each other understand.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with a Capital One Saver Card. So let's just get one of everything.
Everything? Fire everything. The Capital One Saver Card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Aging is a natural process, as we all know, and I, for one, don't mind embracing it. But I will tell you one part of aging that I don't care for. It's the symptoms that stem from changing hormones, especially as you get older to perimenopause and menopause. That's why we want to tell you about Happy Mammoth's Hormone Harmony. Happy Mammoth, the company that created Hormone Harmony, is dedicated to making women's lives easier. And that means using only science-backed ingredients that have been proven to work for women. They make no compromise when it comes to quality, and it shows. For a limited time, you can get 15% off on your entire first order at happymammoth.com. Just use the code HAPPYME at checkout.